in a month when, public places were still running and school was still open, I had a conversation with my mom. The virus still felt distant then, like it was never gonna really reach us, the United States. So I was leaning against the kitchen counter. My mom was making some rice for lunch, and I had learned new stuff about the virus, such as who it affected the most and procedures people can take to protect themselves. So I decided to bring it up to my mom. So, have you heard about the coronavirus? Yeah, why? I don't know, you just don't watch the news much, so I wanted to ask. I was testing the waters to see if she was open to having a conversation. So? Well, do you know about the virus? More or less. I've been trying to watch the news more. Yeah. Well, I heard based on the news that the virus is pretty nasty, and it mostly affects people over the age of 65, and people with bad immune systems. Yeah, I heard. My mom pours some water into the rice, checking on it, and I'm wondering, should I keep talking? So I keep talking. My grandma should be more careful. I mean, she's the most vulnerable of us. If I were to catch it, I'd be fine. I'd be okay. I'd survive. If you or Dad were to catch it, you will still be okay. But my grandma? I don't know, her chances are just really bad. Well, not really. Huh? Your dad and I have diabetes. It affects our immune system, so if we were to catch it... My mom didn't really need to finish the sentence. I understood the implications. I understood that my parents could die. The rice was steaming, and my mom picked up the lid to check on the rice to see if it was ready, but it wasn't. This knowledge didn't break me. I didn't burst into tears and throw myself on the ground. It was more like I was trying to process it. Like I was this computer screen tab, loading the information slowly. Ah, right. That was my actual response to that, to this alarming information. Well, why are you still standing here? Go clean up your room. That mirror of yours is so disgusting. And those cobwebs on your ceiling, absolutely gross. And while you're at it... Well, she went on, and I knew it was time to take my leave. So, I went to my room, my own little comfy room. Lunch will be ready in 5 minutes. Don't you close that door on me. I closed the door. I needed a moment. Just some time to really take what I just learned. I think my mom wanted me to be there, but I just couldn't offer her myself. I just needed a moment to process all of this. I just wasn't ready. Dinner wasn't ready until 15 minutes later. There isn't much to do these days. We're self-quarantining, cleaning up and making minor repairments to the house, listening to any updates on the coronavirus. We're sort of stuck with one another, more so than usual. We live in a small house. It's fine, but it can be pretty suffocating. My brother can be heard screeching in the living room with a dog barking, despite the fact that my room is entirely on the opposite side of the house. There just isn't much room to feel like there's truly alone time. It hasn't been easy for most of us. My mom was probably used to having the weekdays by herself. My brother and I would be at school. My dad would be working. It'd just be her and our family dog Lola. Now my mom has to deal with waking up and my brother nagging her to make some breakfast. Lola has 2 bored siblings that constantly bother her now. My mom spends most of her days cleaning up and scolding my brother to stop throwing the couch cushions on the floor. My dog will start growling at us whenever we try to pick her up when she's napping. My brother, when bored, will run around the house, with Lola right behind him. He makes it a game to have the dog chase after her. He has school, but that's been a confusing mess because the teacher doesn't really know how to run the class. And it's just been pretty frustrating for my mom, especially, who doesn't really like to, miss out on things. She wants to know if something's important or not. As for me, I don't mind being in my room for long periods of time. I didn't go out much before the virus, so this quarantine didn't initially feel any different. But now, I miss going to school. I miss walking to the bus and listening to music. I miss the greenery of my university. Now, well, all I have is my neighborhood. There aren't as many neighbors walking around or visiting each other's houses to gossip or talk about their problems with their kids. There aren't as many children running around or, children on bikes. It's pretty quiet. I mean, the most surreal moment was probably seeing these children play outside. I went out. It was a pretty cool day. There was a bird or two are chirping. I was walking back home, and I was going through the mail, right? And I noticed something moving from the corner of my eye. And I look up, and I pause momentarily from flicking through the mail and taking the scene in front of me. 3 kids were playing hopscotch and laughing as they stumbled out of these strong boxes on the ground. But that wasn't the most peculiar thing, no. It was the fact that they were wearing face masks. There were children playing around and acting like any other child, wearing face masks. It was almost a scene like out of a dystopian movie. And I just admired them for a second. Even during this pandemic, while wearing face masks, those kids were laughing and playing like nothing ever changed. They definitely knew there's a virus, and yet they still found joy through all of this, despite their circumstances. And I looked away from the children, and I went back home, up the doorstep, into my small, chaotic household. Sometimes I'll be laying in bed, pillow propped under my head, phone in hand. I'll be scrolling through Twitter, snort at a funny tweet, and maybe send a tweet to a friend. Then I'll keep scrolling, hopping through different platforms of social media because, Christ, am I bored. And then I'll see some friends' appreciation post on Instagram. There's nothing wrong with the post. I mean, it's just someone gushing over the people in their life. It's fine. It's absolutely completely harmless. It's just only something flitters across my mind. It's like this pop. I just wish I could be that kind of friend. There it is. First thought. The first butterfly. I ignore it. Yeah, whatever, it's just a post. Keep scrolling. So I keep scrolling. You sure love making stuff. Everything about you. Shit, hasn't even been a minute and already this small, seemingly insignificant butterfly has multiplied into 2. Maybe if I ignore it, it'll just go away. It'll just vanish. I'm sure of it. I am sure of it. Are you, though? Are you really sure of anything? You're never sure of anything, you know? I began to scowl on my phone. Suddenly these pictures of people smiling and all these pretty pictures of mountains and whatever, they're just getting on my nerves. I'm probably just tired of this app. Let's just switch to Twitter. Yeah, I just need to change in apps. That's all. Well, yeah. Yeah. Run along. You changing apps doesn't change the fact that you're still insecure about most of your relationships with people. This room, it feels small. I mean, yes, it's small, And the bed takes up, like, what, 80% of my room? What is this bed? A queen? I think it's a queen size? I don't feel like much of a queen of myself. You don't feel like much of anything worthwhile. Oh, what the hell? I shut off my phone and I just throw it to the side. Because now even the quarantine memes, they're not making me laugh anymore. Are butterflies allowed to talk? They really should not be allowed to talk. Because that's like absolutely weird. You know what's also weird? Getting upset when somebody sends a message in a group chat and nobody responds. Like, oh, boo-hoo, look at me. Oh, I'm wondering what I did wrong, because I surely did something wrong, right? I start clutching at the blanket because my tail's just digging into the blanket, and I close my eyes, chewing on the inside of my cheek as I try to ignore these thoughts. These butterflies. I just want some peace of mind. Peace of mind. Didn't some character in, oh god, what is the play called? Doubt. Yeah, Doubt. Something about peace of mind. This character from Sister James. Yeah, I remember. Stop playing distraction. You keep ignoring your problems, but you can't ignore us forever.